There are a lot of mistakes aspiring screenwriters make with dialogue. A lot. But this one is one of the biggest, and I bet you're doing it in your screenplay. I'm going to tell you what it is, and I'm going to give you 3 ways to fix it. And it's this, which is short for, as you and I both know. So, it's time for you to know. Imagine the scene. You've got 2 characters, Wallace and Gertrude, and they are lifelong friends. But the audience doesn't know this, not yet. I mean, we just met Wallace and we just met Gertrude, but they see each other across the train station and beeline for one another. Gertie, she grimaces. You hate it when I call you that. You just did, as you and I both know. As you and I both know, centers around exposition. And exposition is simply information the audience needs to make sense of the story. And a writer who is doing this Wallace and Gertrude scene is thinking, hey, I can do it this way, and that will help the audience know that they have a deep history with one another. But what the audience hears is just bad exposition, because what is happening is the characters are telling something to one another that they both already know about the other. The audience doesn't know, and so the characters engage in a little bit of, as you and I both know, just to, try to help get the audience and bring them along, just to help them get up to speed, or at least that's what the writer thinks. But it is bad dialogue and lazy writing. Here's the same scene, but a little better. Hey there, Gert, don't you dare! Like he swallowed the canary. What? That's what I thought. He smiles and she jumps in his arms for an epic hug. We still get the same inkling of their history, but now there's also just a hint of mystery, and the audience might be a little curious as to what was Wallace going to say. So now we're a little intrigued. We've learned what we needed to know. They have a little bit of history, but there's no sloppy, as you and I both know, dialogue. And that's actually the first trick to getting rid of the as you and I both know sin. Let the mystery exist. The audience is going to catch up, especially if you do mystery the right way. I mean, it's one of the best tools in the toolbox to make an audience pay attention without triggering their emotions. And at the beginning of a script, you haven't laid enough road to manipulate emotions yet, so you need some help. And mystery is a great way to engage the audience and to avoid the, as you and I both know, debacle. Now, the next 2 tricks are going to seem super simple, but for whatever reason, aspiring screenwriters have a hard time doing either of them. So the second trick is to just delete all of it. I mean, the problem is we as writers, we think, oh, I need that information. It's important to the story, we cry. But is it? I mean, is it really? I mean, most of the time, it's not. The story doesn't change at all whether we know about something or don't know about something. For example, how much does it matter to you right now what my first job was? I mean, I could be having a discussion with my brother and be like, hey, you remember my first job, right? And he'd be like, oh yeah, when you were working at, and drop in the comments what you think my first job was. Make a guess. You're not going to offend me. I might have mentioned it one time in a video, so if you've been paying attention, maybe you've heard it, but you're going to have to guess far and wide for this one. And I'll give you a hint, it wasn't related to screenwriting at all. So when you know that, does it really matter if you know it or not? Most of that kind of background information, it just doesn't matter, even though you think it does. So if you have characters doing the as you and I both know thing, chances are you can probably delete it and it won't change much of anything. But if you feel you need it, I mean you really, really need it, then move it as late in the story as you can and utilize the next trick. The third trick to avoiding, as you and I both know, is to change one of the characters in the scene. I mean, if I was talking to my brother about my first job, he knows what it is. I know what it was, but my neighbor doesn't know. So maybe I swap out my brother with my neighbor. So instead of having the information come out between 2 characters who already know, make one of the characters someone who actually doesn't know. And just in swapping out a character, it's no longer an as you and I both know situation, because both of them now don't know. One of them is going to learn the information alongside the audience, and that resolves the as you and I both know problem. And this one is a simple fix because you just move the information later. Put it in a scene with someone who doesn't know, and the information comes out, ideally in an argument or in the midst of something else going on, as you should be doing with exposition in the first place. So don't kill your dialogue by having 2 characters who know the information talk about that information out loud just so the audience can hear it. I mean, rarely does this happen happen in real life, and when it happens in your story, it pulls audiences out of a movie faster than you can say, if you found value in this video, don't forget about all the fun buttons. There might be other ways your scenes are broken, and if you want some more help, you could watch this. There are some links below to my book, my online course, and my coaching program, so check those out if you're ready to level up your writing game. And when you tell a story that matters. See you later.